Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're discussing the Omega Seamaster Professional Planet Ocean 600 meter, 39.5 millimeters in titanium. You can see this delightfully sized, versatile reference from within the ordinarily Brobdingnagian Planet Ocean family, and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this ceramic bezel caliber 8500 titanium cased Seamaster Planet Ocean, with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this and our entire collection of pre-owned Omega timepieces. Now, for me, owner of an older Bond-era Seamaster 300 meter diver, this watch represents the most appealing option in terms of sizing, fit, and feel within the Planet Ocean family. Of course, the Planet Ocean is the flagship of the Seamaster family, positioned above the Surf and Turf Aquaterra and the entry-level 300-meter divers. The problem is the cases were generally made in sizes big and huge to start out the run of the line from 2005. Unless you wanted to wear a woman's size, you were often faced with impossibly huge titanium, steel, or gold cases. Here we have the lightness of titanium with the perfect fit of a 39.5 millimeter case. That's not including the helium escape valve, crown guards, or crown. And I'll even say that measured across the bezel from edge to edge, the watch is actually 40.5 millimeters, so a perfect size for a contemporary men's sports reference. And with only a 48 millimeter lug-to-lug dimension, this is an easy one to wear on wrists as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. It is thick, all Planet Oceans are, but at 16 millimeters, it's not the 17 and even 19 that we've seen on other models within the line. And the timepiece, all in titanium, wears light. As you can see when I show you this profile shot, the lugs are nowhere near overlapping the edge of my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. The strap is of high quality. I don't have this one perfectly sized, but as you can see, it has one feature that often makes fit difficult for smaller wrists, which is a conforming profile to the end of the strap so it closes the gap to the flank of the case. Sometimes this can cause a strap to flare out and fight you. Here, you can actually pull the strap straight down because they exit vertically downward rather than flaring out. Handsome and comfortable, it creates an integrated look with no gaps to the case flank, and then you have a bolstered center to give it some character and definition with a contrasting stitch. Strictly speaking, not necessary, as it's a co-molded single piece of vulcanized rubber, but it's a handsome contrast that I appreciate. Now, the strap is designed to be fit to this minderless clasp, so there's no need to cut it to length as with some other rubber strap dive references. You'll note that the clasp is also titanium with a contrasting finish, both satin and polished. Twin trigger actuation ensures that this one can't accidentally pop open. What I said before, the minderless system, is that the strap length, any excess length beyond what you need to fit, is tucked under the body of the clasp. So there's no mess, there's no additional outcropping of unused strap that has to be gathered up by minder loops on the opposite side. It results in a very clean look, as you can see in this profile shot. Now, going back to the case, you can see it has the beveled look that we expect of a Seamaster Professional reference or a Speedmaster Professional reference, with the satin finished flanks and the polished bevels. You'll be happy to know that this is the harder and more resilient grade 5 titanium. It's generally impossible to polish grade 2. You don't see it too often. So this is not just the premium alloy of titanium, so you can have those polished facets, but it's also harder than grade 2, meaning this is effectively as scratch resistant as some of the harder tempered grades of stainless steel. You get the lightness and you get the durability. Of course, you have the helium escape valve. You saturation divers, you know who you are. If you need this, it's there for you. If not, luxury is about getting more than you need, plus it's a fun talking point. You can remind your friends at dinner that James Bond once used the helium escape valve of his Omega as a grenade. Yours doesn't have that feature, but it's excellent, again, if you want to dive in a bell. The bezel is ceramic with liquid metal inlays, which means that all the calibrations and numerals are a co-bonded alloy that's actually sunken into the ceramic so that they become one and can never separate. The ceramic itself is effectively as scratch resistant as sapphire, so if you're not one to chip or shatter sapphires, you're probably never going to put a mark in this ceramic bezel. So this effectively marks the end of dive bezels in aluminum with anodized surfaces that wind up looking like the fenders of New York City cabs. This is designed for long-wearing durability. Now, of course, you'll note the knurling outside is polished as a sort of jewel-like geometric gloss accent in contrast to the blasted finish in between the knurling, but far more important than the finish is the tactile quality when you turn the crown. It has just enough resistance to feel substantial, but not so much that you'd have difficulty manipulating it while wearing gloves or with wet hands. You can line the index up with the vintage-inspired broad arrow minutes hand, and now you can time an interval from 0 to 60. I find when I do have to time something, such as intervals between meetings, something I'm cooking, an exam, it's generally going to be an interval of an hour or less. So far more legible than the subdial of a chronograph, you can line that index up and use the minute hand to time anything above or below the waves. And again, I always like to say, if this is all you need for timing intervals with your watch, you're going to save a lot of money on the long-term maintenance of a dive bezel over a chronograph caliber. Moving inboard to the dial, you can see it's a gloss blue base with applied white gold indices and white gold hands at center. Again, this is the flagship of the Seamaster family, so you do get those upscale appointments, the same treatment in white gold for the quarter, or I should say tri-Arabics 12, 9, and 6. The missing 3 o'clock is the aperture for the black with silver print date disc, easily referenced, and of course keyed to the time zone functionality of the caliber 8500. You'll note I haven't stopped the watch. It's still ticking away. It's still keeping seconds and minutes accurately, even as I advance the date forward and backwards without any hazard to the movement as I jump time zones, including forward or backwards across the international date line. Of course, if I pull the crown to extremity, I do have hacking seconds, and you can see that I can synchronize to anything, a mission timer, a dive clock, or simply an accurate atomic clock that I look up on my laptop. Now, the watch is a coaxial chronometer, so we're going to reactivate the caliber. So it's beaten away at its quirky coaxial specific 25,200 vibrations per hour, and you can see the SI14 silicon hairspring on the distinctive caliber 8500 balance. The full balance bridge in the free-sprung index makes the movement shock resistant. The SI14 silicon hairspring makes the watch highly anti-magnetic. You'll note a handsome arabesque Côte de Genève that splays out in radial fashion from the center of the bridges as well as across the winding mass. It is a bidirectional winding system, Rolex and Audemars Piguet style, so it doesn't have the rattle. It isn't audible. You can't really feel it the way you can a unidirectional winding system like on a 7750 chronograph. Twin mainspring barrels and a 60-hour power reserve. Of course, it is a chronometer, so COSC certified, but it is also a coaxial, using the tri-level tangential contact coaxial escapement invented by the late master watchmaker George Daniels, pioneered by and still exclusive to Omega. You may see a Roger Smith with something like that, or possibly even a Paul Gerber escapement, but it's not exactly the same thing, and it isn't nearly as tough as this hardy caliber is. This is a sports watch movement in every respect, right down to the fact that the vessel that encases it is water resistant down to 600 meters. This is the Planet Ocean for those of us who could never get over the size and bulk and even slightly bombastic image of the original case sizes. Now versatile, handsome, and in titanium, feather light on the wrist. You can see and you can buy this example on our website.